If this is your first time here, welcome again. A little background on Phala Chamber. So it is a live broadcast of Phala community meeting. It is a moment of direct communication between the team and the community. It'll synchronize the latest progress of Phala for the community by answering the questions that our people care the most. We'll invite outstanding contributors from the Phala community as a host each time. There will be 1 to 3 community calls each month, either via video or audio on Phala Discord channel. So every live broadcast will have a replay video on Phala YouTube channel. So as you guys all know, the Khala and Ethereum Bridge just launched. So today we're going to talk about the exciting launch, which allows transfer between Khala and Ethereum. So we're also going to cover some other updates on Phala during this call. I'm very happy to have Marvin and Han with me today as our guest today. We'll start with the latest update from the team and end with the Q&A session.
Glad to be here.
Hi everyone, this is Marvin speaking. Glad to meet you guys today.
Okay, so the Khala and Ethereum Bridge just launched is such an important milestone for Phala. Congratulations. So Marvin and Han, could you give us an overall review of the launching process and some updates on the bridge?
Yeah, I think I can take this one.
From the beginning, we only have the Ethereum to Khala one-way bridge, and we have been using that for a long time because the first day when we launched that, it was used to move the token from Ethereum to Khala network, and we use this token for voting. And we used to have a referendum to open the mining and the other process. Yeah, so that's the first 1 month. But just recently, we have launched the backward bridge. So from Khala to Ethereum. So this bridge take a long time because first of all, the backward is more how to say that? I think it requires higher security because now the smart contract on Ethereum is immutable. So as long as we deploy that, we have to ensure it can run smoothly. Unlike substrate blockchain, we can do runtime upgrade. So we take some time to make sure the security. At the same time, we have to make sure the user experience. So now we have just launched our front end, and yeah, now it's just a video. But if you go to the our app.phala.network, now the bridge under the bridge tab, you can already see there is a button to switch between the forward bridge and the backward bridge. And we have also make some very slight change to make sure the security and all the risk in the bridging process. So all of them take time. So just yesterday we passed the runtime upgrade to upgrade the enable the feature in the runtime.
I think for mining, it was started, and since the start, we haven't made any significant change on that. But we do spend a lot of time to observe if the mining is on the best performance or if there's any problems we have to fix. And it turned out there are, although we have did a few rounds of testnets, but there are still some problems. So the focus of the team in the last 2 weeks are on mining bug fixes. So if you check, if you subscribe our network upgrade updates, then you're going to see we have passed a few referendum and motions, either to enable some features, for example, the backward bridge and the token transfer. And also, there are some bug fixes come with each version of the upgrade. And among them, I think most significant one was a bug we have found a few weeks ago, I think. So because of some problem, some funds are not possible to contribute to some stake pool. But after that, we have fixed that, and it turned out really not a very easy to fix problem. Dealing with the precision like that. So yeah, that's a lot of development under the hood. But in the end, now I think most of the features are fully functional, and I think there are still a few remaining things we are going to take care of. The first one is the commission. So now there is a GitHub issue. We haven't make any decision, but actually, even if as the team, as the Phala team, we make any decision, it doesn't mean this decision will be live on the network because we must pass the referendum voting, right? So it's not just our blockchain; it's the blockchain of all the Phala token holders. So I think the for the commission problem, that is like if you as a delegator, you contribute to some pool, then the pool owner theoretically they can just immediately raise the commission fee. So maybe you see the commission is like 10%, which is pretty good, but after you contribute to the pool, they can raise it to 100%. So it means that this can be a problem for some dishonest stake pool owner. So of course, now there are already some pool well established, and they are earning their credits by keeping a reasonable commission fee and make sure their miner can generate a decent amount of the rewards. But at the same time, I think it's necessary to have a mechanism to at least protect the investors. So we haven't make any conclusion yet, but some ideas like maybe if a stake pool wants to raise its commission rate, there must be some delay. So the delegator can have some time to notice that and move their funds out from the pool. And there are also some other ideas discussed on the GitHub issue. Yeah, so this is a very important development we're going to make. Another thing is about the mining performance. So now, if there's any upgrade, people have to shut down their peer runtime, and if they sync from scratch, it takes maybe 1 hour. So it's a long time. So I think the next step is to try to reduce the time to sync the mining client. So if we have some way to take a snapshot, store it locally, then maybe like the next time if you shut down peer runtime and start it, it can just recover the process within a few seconds. So it will be much better for miner. But now we don't have any slash on the blockchain. So I think if the network is getting stable and all these annoying problems are fixed, then it's the time to just enable the slash back, because we always want to make sure the network can be the honest and good miners can be rewarded, and the bad manners or careless miners will be punished. Yeah, so this is the my rough idea about the development of mining.
Okay, great. So just to emphasize on that, the team have a lot of issues to deal with, a lot of bugs to fix, and sometimes a lot of good ideas that they want to move forward. But since, Phala is not, Phala does not belong to the team, it belongs to the community. So when you want to push things forward, sometimes you really have to wait for the referendum to be passed. So yeah, a little patience will be very helpful from everyone's side. Nice. So I'm also aware that the challenges for Phala and Polkadot Inco Club Hackathon were out last week. So any updates on that?
Yeah, for slot auction.
No, for the Polkadot Inco Club Hackathon, Phala and Polkadot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can briefly mention that. So if like for the audience, if you are not aware of, there is an ongoing hackathon, and we have some challenges, and there are beginner challenges and advanced challenges, and the beginner challenges are all associated with $25 reward. And for the advanced challenge, you're supposed to build a relatively complete a relatively complete dApp. So we have the tutorial, and if you follow the tutorial, you are guaranteed you can get the beginner challenge rewards. And if you can get some cool idea implemented, you can get a much higher reward. So the first prize is $3,000. The second one is the $2,000 US dollar reward. Yeah, and now we already got a few very impressive submissions. For example, a guy is building a password manager just like 1Password or LastPass if you have used any of them. It is built as a Chrome extension, and because password is such a sensitive data, so that guy used Phala confidential smart contract to store the password, and that it also have two-factor authentication. So use your own password to encrypt the password and then store it in the Phala contract. So it's really impressive.
Right. So you mentioned that if you follow the tutorial, you can earn the reward. How hard is that for like someone like me that don't have any programming experience or knowledge?
I think some very basic knowledge about how to run a blockchain node. For example, if you have the experience to run, I don't know, Bitcoin node or Ethereum, Polkadot node, then you can have a try. The first challenge is just to run the local testnet and take a few screenshot, and then you are okay to go. The second one is a little bit harder, but it's just to make some slightly change on the tutorial template code. For example, adjust the text in the app, and then that's not very hard.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to try tonight. And everyone, you know where the money's at, right? You gotta go try yourself too. So awesome. So sounds like a lot of exciting things are going to happen soon. Since Marvin and Han are extremely busy, we don't want to take too much of their time. So is there anything you want to add in, Marvin?
Yeah, I want to share some progress on
Okay.
marketing and community side. First, I think we already launched the security workers mining for nearly a month, and I think things begins to work out. We already achieved what we are target on. For example, for now there are over 16K workers on, and there are over 100K CPU cores are providing its privacy computation power to Phala, which is absolutely some achievement we want to get. And also, for example, even though we have so large amount of workers, which we already could be one of the biggest, computation power blockchain in the world at the moment. And these computation power are usable. I mean, it's not running or computation just for consistency, but it's also, it's majorly, something we can use to provide service. And on the other hand, although we already have this amount of workers, but each worker have a quite stable reward at the moment. In our calculation on app.phala network, each worker on Khala network can earn about 3 Phala tokens per day, which compared with hardware cost is not a bad deal. I mean, but in the meanwhile, everybody knows that our major tokenomic will officially work on Phala network, which is the parachain on Polkadot. So it means that based on our tokenomic design on Polkadot parachain, which is Phala, the reward for miners, the budget will increase like 10 times. So I believe that we have a very bright future on this perspective. And yeah, besides mining, what's the next plan for applications and services on Phala? For now, today we are very glad that we are the first parachain who have both sides bridges with Ethereum. Although I know that Moon River also have a bridge like this, but we kind of like build the service on top of Khala directly. And our next plan is that we don't like people, our community, to pay so a lot on Ethereum gas fees. So our next plan is that we want to use the same technology on the EVM, composable blockchains such as BSC, Phantom, Polygon. So so this is one of our next plan. And on the other hand, we have some research, and we found out that there are already several pretty good DeFi protocols on Kusama at the moment, but the liquidity is not so good. It means that all Kusama parachains need a large number or a large amount of liquidity join in the network rather than just a staking KSM for the liquidity. So we want to help this out. So our next plan is that if we launch the bridge also on BSC, we can also listing some major liquidity tokens from BIC and provide it to the protocols like Khala or Moon River. So this is pretty cool for us. So I think we will do this in the next month. And on the other hand, everybody already know that Polkadot just launched its plan for Polkadot slot auction, which the first slot auction will happen on 11th November. So if anyone want to join the campaign, please unlock the dot for now. But for Khala side, we did some analytic about the situation, and we are not quite sure that our best feeling is that we can first testing and try our best about what we can deliver and what's the what's the valuable of parachains on Kusama, and then we use the same protocols and services on Polkadot as well. But it seems a little bit emergency for us to join the Polkadot auction at the moment, but I think for marketing and the community, and it will be have some actual benefits. So we are also planning the finalized the plan for Chrome now, and we will announce the plan in the next before the first slot auction begins. So don't worry about that. Phala network will come into Polkadot. We will lock up a slot eventually. And either if it's worthy enough to get the first batch, we are not quite sure. We want to do some analytics and announce the plan as a proposal on Khala network, and we will leave the community to decide in which way we want to join. It's not depends on the team, not depends on Hong and my end, but what we are best at is we can provide suggestions, proposals, plans, development, but the decision will be eventually made by the community. So that's the plan about the auction. And it will come out, not the plan will come out soon. And I think that's, and there is also something very exciting. As Hao mentioned during the encoded hackathon, we found out some pretty cool ideas from developers on Phala, and we will how to say we will came out more ideas based on top of that. So our next plan is gather some best practice or best use cases and show it to the community. And we will also try to launch the confidential smart contract on Phala network with a new tokenomic about how to use Phala network. So now our tokenomic are based, majorly focus on how to provide your computation power to Phala and how to earn from that, right? But in the next step, we will more focus on how to use Phala, and we already have some pretty cool ideas from our council members because some of them have very strong economic, academic background. So about that, so we will launch the guideline, the guidebook for developers and the tokenomic about how to use Phala network in maybe November or early December. So I think that's our plan. And liquidity. I want to make some summaries. Liquidity providing from other EVM composable blockchains to Akala, to Moon River, to all Kusama patterns, and improvement the technology and the tokenomic for how to use Phala network, and the proposal, the plan for polkadot slot auction as soon as possible. I think these things are our next big moves. Thank you.
Great. So just like Marvin mentioned, a lot of our ideas actually come from you guys, the community. So participation will be, very encouraged. Really hope that you guys can be active in the community if you have any great ideas. So let's move on to the Q&A session now. We'll first have them answer a few frequently asked questions from the community, and then I'll open up the questions to the audiences. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So question number 1, this is one of the most frequently asked questions regarding mining in the community. So recently we got quite a lot of questions about the releasing stake. So how come funds are still releasing after 7 to 14 days?
So I think maybe I'm the best person to answer. Actually, there is a forum post explaining all the details, but I will just cover the a simplified version in this event. So I think why it's so complex? Because it itself is not an easy problem. So here we have the stake pool used to release the fund to stake for some miners, and the stake pool receives the funds from we call them delegators, and the stake pool has a owner. The owner can control how these funds are used. For maybe it's just stay there as free stake, or they can use the stake to power some miners to mine and earn. So there are two roles. One is the delegator, and another is the pool owner. And then are they trusted? Are they trusted with each other? The answer is no. So as a delegator, you are not necessarily to fully trust the pool owner. And as a pool owner, you don't fully trust the delegator. So that's why we create such a protocol to allow the people who don't know each other collaboratively mine on Phala network. Yeah. So this is the background. And based on that, we have the protocol. First of all, the delegator can put some funds into the stake pool, and the pool owner can use the funds to start mining. And then if they want to stop mining, the funds will be in the releasing state. And after 7 days of cooling down period, then the funds can be released. And the release doesn't happen automatically. they have to call a function called reclaim pool worker, and this is described in the forum post. But anyway, they can trigger the release of the fund. And of course, this is not just possible to be called by the pool owner, but it can also be done by anyone. So it means that it's just a trigger. It doesn't require any permission to release the funds after 7 days of waiting. But that is the happy path. So if like the stake pool owner, they stop the miner waiting for release and then release that after 7 days, so everyone is happy. But what if the delegator wants to withdraw some funds, but the pool owner doesn't want to stop any workers? Then we have the mechanism called force stop. So we have something called the grace period. That is 7 days. So if you, as a delegator, you want to withdraw some funds from the pool, then we give 7 days for the pool owner to release some funds to cover your withdrawal request. Because if we don't allow that, it basically means that the pool owner controls your funds. If you want to move that, withdraw your funds, you have to ask the permission from the pool owner. This is not a good. So we don't want to give them the permission. So we have the first stop mechanism. So we give 7 days to the pool owner, and they either add some more funds to cover your withdrawal request, or they stop a few workers to release the funds, right? But what if they does nothing? If they did nothing, then after 7 days, we will force shut down the entire pool. So it means that all the workers in the pool will be shut down, and all the stake will be released. So this is why there is a 7 day plus 7 day. In total is 14 days waiting time, because there's a 7 day grace period and a 7 day cooling down period. So in the longest situation, you withdraw the funds and wait for 7 days, then we force shut down the entire pool, and then all the stake is in a cooling down state, and you wait another 7 days, then all these funds are released, and finally there will be someone to call reclaim function to actually release them. But overall speaking, this is not a very easy to understand concept, and the operation is also very complicated. So the improvement we're going to have is to have some automation on the front end. For example, maybe we can create a button called reclaim all. It will try to find out all the funds ready to reclaim, and you click the button, and it will just handle everything for the rest. But in the meantime, we still have to do it manually, one worker by one worker. So yeah, that's something we're going to improve. But now the funds is already possible to reclaim.
Okay, great. That helps a lot. So I hope that clears some air for everyone too. Don't freak out if you encounter this issue. The team will always be there to help. So the next question we have is, we got some people wondering why their ferry synchronization has been so slow. Can you guys explain a little bit what's happening?
So this is also about mining, right? So sometimes when we do some on-chain upgrade, and if you follow the official tutorial, it says you're going to shut down the current miner and upgrade the program, and then start again. But especially in P runtime, we call that stateless. Means that it doesn't store anything. It only uses the memory to synchronize the blockchain and process the blocks. But if we shut down P runtime, then everything got forgot by the program. So that's why if like you synchronize the entire blockchain, it takes around 1 hour, and then you shut down it, start it again. You have to synchronize from the first block. So as mentioned in the development progress update, this is also the first priority problem we're going to solve. So maybe we're going to save the synchronized state and save it in the local desk. So the next time it can resume from the point you start you stop the water. So you don't need to wait for a long time. But it takes some time. I think at least maybe we need around 1 month to implement that.
Okay, great. That was very helpful. So the last question I have for you guys is, will Phala have projects related to NFT or metaverse in the future? I'm pretty sure this is very interesting. And Marvin, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, sure. That's a very interesting question, and yeah, we are working something on that, and I don't want to leak.
Yeah, we are back. Sorry, there was some internet problem.
Okay, so because we are moving our target from a privacy protocol into a full stack Web3 cloud platform, so metaverse will be so important for us. Not only just to give some characters to our community, but also include the major servers come out from Phala. So we will be more engaged and very deeply engaged in these metaverse projects. For now, we have very good relationships with metaverse like Sandbox and Big Country and the RMRK, and we already cooperating with RMRK for a while. So so I think we already learned something from these corporations. And for our next step is that we want to deliver something really cool for the whole Phala community. Just keep in the community, be activity. You will get it. So yeah, this is as far as I can share. So yeah, the good things will come out, and I'm very excited about that.
Okay, great. So I'm very excited about that as well. Must be really interesting, and let's just wait for that. So, all right, really looking forward to what Phala can do in the future. Will be a great step forward for the team. So now I'm going to open up the questions to everyone here. Thanks for waiting so patiently. Let's see what we have here. You guys can use the request to speak function if you want.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy. It's like the little hand on the bottom of the screen.
Oh. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, if you don't feel convenient to chat, you can also put the question in the chat in the community call chat this group. So we will repeat the question and answer that.
I think CZAR102 wants to speak.
Oh, there's no request now. This is the first. Yeah, you joined. Someone joined.
Hi there.
Welcome.
Hi there.
Hi, nice to be in this session together. I had my request up, but it didn't come through. But yeah, I haven't thought about this question fully, but so I saw something earlier in the Discord on the miner about the more miners there were, the more workers there were, the less APR there would be, and there were also complaints about minor centralization through a lot of delegation. So just a kind of a general question about, in the medium term, are there any plans to make sure that it doesn't get too centralized, the mining process? Thank you.
Great question. Yeah, so I think to summarize, there are two questions. First is the APY reduce if there are too many miners. The second one is about mining centralization. And I think by centralization, you mean both like some miner may join some big pool, or some big pool can get more rewards than the smaller pool. Another one is I don't know if you also mean the centralization in geolocation, for example, in some countries. So I think for the first question, the answer is easy. So currently in our tokenomic, we have something called the subsidy budget. The subsidy budget is very similar to the block reward on other blockchains like Ethereum and Bitcoin. So in every time period, we have limited amount of the token released to the miners. But how they are distributed between all these miners is based on a value we call that the share. And when calculating the actual payout, like if you check out the tokenomic page, the payout depends on two things. One is value promised, the V, and V is a dynamic value associated with any miners. Another is the performance score. So the more performance your machine is, the higher payout you can get. But anyway, we combine these two values together by an equation, and the higher V, the better. The more performance, the better. And then every miner has a score. We call that the share. And then they just the block subsidy is just distributed based on the share. For example, if you take maybe 1% of the share among all the miners, then you can get theoretically 1% of the block reward. But this is a very, very simplified explanation. But you can, but I think it still answer the question. For example, like if there are 1,000 miners, or I think better, maybe 3,000 miners, and all these miners have the same V and same performance score, then they just get how should we call that, 3,000 of the block reward. I mean, you just got your part because everyone got their share from the block reward based on their score. Yeah. So in this way, so the more miner, the less payout each miner can get. But the actual system is more complex than what I have described, because you also got V increase if you got less payout, and the V increase can make your future performance, future payout higher, because the longer you stay in the system consider you more loyal to the system, and the more credit you earn in the system, so the more reward you can get. Yeah. So yeah, but roughly speaking, the more miners, the less you can go. But this is a free market. If like there are too many miners and some miner with higher hardware cost or electricity cost, they will just drop out from the network. And it's a dynamic, balanced situation. If there's too many miners, some will leave, and if there's too few miners, people will find it profitable and they will drop. So this is a dynamic, balanced thing. The second question is about centralization. To be honest, I haven't think about this very, very carefully, especially regarding to the large stake pool. But as a stake pool, the more stake you get, the more profitable it will be, and this is for sure. But for a pool, people delegate to you not only because you have a very high APR, but also you have some good credits. For example, you operate pretty well and got very stable reward income in the past. Then you get higher chance. You can even give a little lower APR compared with the others if you are very well established stake pool. So I think it deserves it. But at the same time, if there are too many people in a stake pool, then each one in the stake pool will get less reward unless the stake pool owner have a lot of new hardware to join, and whenever they get more stake, they open more miners, then they can maintain the overall APR. Otherwise, the APR will be reduced. So this is another way to establish the free market or dynamic balance. The last one I think is regarding the geolocation centralization. I think this is. I think in the end we want the miner to be as distributed among the world as possible. So now we don't have any concrete idea, but I think roughly speaking, in the future we will get the demands from the developer all around the world. For example, like if there are a lot of developers from the US, they want to deploy their application in the US, then we should give more reward to the US miners because there are just more demand, right? So I think with this mechanism introduced, there will not be any centralization concern. But now it is still we haven't started the real computation task yet, so it takes some time. Yeah, so that's the answer.
You like the answer?
Yeah, I'll come back. Thank you. Yeah, I thought that was quite wholesome. The three parts were pretty much the direction I was looking at. Oh yeah, the other thing, is there, will there be a kind of a dashboard where the people who are interested in checking out these dynamics, you said it was quite a changing situation based on like the free market concept of mining. Will there be maybe later stage a dashboard where people can see these details? That's the final question. Thank you.
Erwin, do you want to answer that? So dashboards and analytics.
For the next plan?
For mining and the stake pool.
Yeah, for now, I'd love to take over that. Actually, before the Phala mining launched, we made up the very full functionable design for the whole picture, but unfortunately, in the very beginning, because we are using no back end technology, it means that all front end are reading data directly from indexers on blockchains, and that means that we don't have a back end now. It's pretty like Pod.js. So it starts when there are too many nodes and there are many functions. We are not so convenient to development in a very fast way, but we are adding more backend resources to build up a totally Web3 version of backend to index the on-chain data. So that our next plan is that we want to improve the experience on app.Phala network. So so we are building backend now, and after it is functional, we can launch more features on dashboard and analytics. For example, we are planning to build a detailed page for each pools. It means that on each pool you can see how the workers are and how the mint out token and how the slashing after we launch the stash, something like this. So it will be more efficiently for the users to pick up their own pools. And on the other hand, we also try to create a more useful personal board to check out his own benefits and manage his delegations. So I think the major reason why the user experience is not good is because we don't have any backend at the moment. And after we successful build up such things, I think that the user experience will be improved very fast. But before that, we are also trying to do some short-term improvements by directly adding functions on front end. For example, we can improve the customer functions on filters so that people can choose like I just want to dedicate it to the pools with a verifiable name, and or pool above 10 workers or commission over 50%, something like this. So it will make the delegators moving faster to pick up his own pools. So I think this is the next things we are also trying to do.
Yeah. I also see someone mentioned a question. If loyalty is so rewarded, won't it eliminate normal desktop miner from participating, taking into consideration internet outage and rebooting, turning off the computer? Well, I think we have a chart. Actually, we have a chart in the tokenomic page on our wiki. It shows like if you stay mining for a long time with V increment, then your payout will also be higher. But it's a very, very slow process. So like if you just mine for, I don't know, maybe for a few days and then you shut down and then restart, then all your V increment will be lost because V is not remembered between the mining session. So the next time, if you start again, then you start from scratch. So this is from one point that the V will not be accumulating a lot and create a big difference between the old miner and new miner. But on the same time, I think this is necessary because we have mining not just for mining, not like Bitcoin. It's just for consensus. For us, mining is actually the term for contributing the computation resources so that we can build a Web3 cloud. And as a cloud provider, the most important thing is to make sure the service we provide is very stable. So we want to minimize the disruption created by maybe switching the application between the miners, because it will always take some time. Even we can make it as shorter as possible, but it's still at least it will take some, I don't know, maybe a few minutes, or if better, maybe we can even make it a few seconds. But there it's impossible to make it how to say that, not aware by any user. So we want to make the increase the user experience. So we have some way to we have to incentivize the miner who can stay in the network for a long time. So this is I think this is pretty important.
Okay, there is another question from Chakana. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. I read quite a few issues with pool changing commission ratio from day to day. What do you think about having a cap for pool, for example, it can change commission ratio only once a week? Or maybe by X% amount so they don't go from 0 to 100% and we get stuck.
Yeah, nice question. Let me drop a link into the chat. Let me find it out. There is a discussion happening on GitHub. Yeah, I just shared it in the chat call chat group and also the whiteboard group. So there are some discussion happening there, and there are also some really good ideas. For example, the first idea I proposed was we can also set a delay for all the commission change. For example, if you want to change the commission, you have to wait for 7 days, and within 7 days, it's already a sufficient long. It's already enough long time for the delegator to make their decision. Maybe they can move the funds out from the pool. But there are also some good addition from the community. For example, they mentioned that if we move the if we set the commission lower, then I think then they think it should be done instantly, because this is not bad for the delegator. But if you want to move it higher, then you have to wait. Another suggestion is we can make the grace period configurable. For example, if as a pool owner you want to just show your good face to the delegator, you can set a very low grace period. For example, 1 day or 2 days. So 1 day or 2 days is not a very big deal for the delegator. But well, if we consider there's also the cooling down period, then it's still something. Well, it is still make the delegating experience very annoying. So they also mentioned that if it's possible to make the staking, like you can move the stake from one pool to another pool without waiting for a cooling down period. To be honest, I haven't put a lot of thought on that. But Polkadot, on Polkadot, this is possible, but on Phala network, we have a slightly different design. So maybe I have to think about that more. And if like you have any good idea, you can also post in the GitHub issue, and I will also reply when I got some more thoughts on that.
Okay. Thank you, Han, for the answer. Any more questions? If you don't want to talk, you can type it in as well. Oh, someone wants to talk. Oh,
So I'm participating in the ENCODE Hackathon Challenge. So for me, I'm kind of a newer developer in terms of technical ability, and I've spent most of the time so far just trying to figure out all the different working parts of the Phala repo. But the project idea that I'm interested in, even if it's after the deadline of the hackathon, it's still a kind of an idea I want to play around with and continue on with. I was wondering if you guys can speak if there's any support system for developers who want to build on top of Phala beyond the hackathon, whether that's in terms of technical support or funding or anything along those lines.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you, and thank you for joining the hackathon, the Decoded hackathon. unlike many projects, we don't have foundation like Web3 Foundation or other foundation. But the reason why we don't have foundation because we trust in on-chain governance. And for now on our treasury in governance on a Khala network, there are over 300k treasury to use. So we just launched the how to participate or how to proposal in treasury proposals in yesterday. Welcome to read that on Wiki. So our plan is that if you have any ideas to contribute or build up things on Khala, welcome to proposal your idea, and we will have a bounty program to support you. The amount could be big and also could be small based on what's the first milestone. So no worries. I think we are very happy to sponsorship with the cool ideas from any developers. If you have any, just share it to us. We will kind of help you out on this.
Yeah. I think even for you submit to the hackathon and even got the prize. After that, if you have the willing to maintain the project and maintain it in the long term or even make it better, I think we can always provide something comparable to the Web3 Foundation grant. So as long as you make something good to the ecosystem or you make something useful, either it can be used by the end user or other developers in the Phala ecosystem, and we are very, very willing to support that. And I think it's a good chance to introduce a little bit about the treasury and the on-chain governance of Phala network. So on Khala, we have three ways to get the support from the treasury, and now we have 267k file available in the treasury. Yeah, and the smallest one is a tip. So anyone can create a tip on our blockchain. And if you don't know how to do that, you can also ask the community members in Phala's community managers or any Phala team members. We can also help you to create one. So the tip is for anything beneficial to the ecosystem or to the project. It can be as small as just maybe $1 to maybe a few $100s. Yeah, so this is tip, and the tip will just be voted by the counselors, and you will get. You don't propose a amount of the tip. You just describe what is desired for tip in the tip, and then the counselor will give out their number, and then the system will send out the number decided by the median number of all the proposed number by these counselors. So this is the smaller one. The medium one is bounty. So bounty is just very, very similar to Web3 Foundation grants. So you have a proposal, and usually you separate the proposal by a few milestones. For example, milestone 1, you make the design. Milestone 2, you implement the smart contract. Milestone 3, you also make the front end and make it a product. So whenever you feel you finish the one milestone, then you can request a payment from the treasury. So in bounty, you propose the amount for each milestone, and then the council will assign someone called the curator to just follow up the progress and check the result of the bounty. So this is the on-chain bounty. And finally, there is also something called the treasury proposal. So treasury proposal is usually suitable for very large amounts of the grant. For example, you have a large team, and or maybe you are already some team with a good product, and then you expect to get expensed by the treasury for something. For example, like if you run some big API server provider, for example, like on Finality, then you can ask for a treasury proposal. You'll say, hey, now we're going to run the server, and the server fee we estimate the server fee, for example, I don't know, 1,000K or something not that big, maybe 100K or 10K, and that's the operational cost for the next few months. Then you can request for a treasury, and this will be voted by the counselors. And if it's a pass, then you can get this amount. So 3 ways to propose, and I think for the individual or small team, bounty is the best. And if just for some bug fixes or some very, very small interesting thing, then tip is a good way to go. Yeah, so that's that's all from my part.
Okay, sorry. So just one quick follow up then is if someone could help paste the link for how to go through the bounty process and
you mean the link?
yeah, just
Yeah, I think we have. Oh, I think I should also mention there's a program called Code Bounty Program, and you can find the Code Bounty Program on our forum and our GitHub page. Let me put all these links together on our Discord group. So Code Bounty is an older program, and we have already migrated the Code Bounty to the on-chain bounty and the on-chain tip-based payment. So nothing changed from the developer's perspective. You can still like send out a request on our GitHub. Let me find the link. Let me find the link. Here we go. Lucia already posted the link. Yeah, so I also posted another link. They are the same. They are linked together. And this is the Code Bounty. And another one is about the treasury. And we also have a introduction of the treasury on our wiki page. You can also take a look. So you either go through the Code Bounty if you feel it's okay. And I think most of the time, if you do some contribution, it's okay to follow the Code Bounty because we have the community managers to follow up all the details. But if you feel you can just create the on-chain bounty directly, you can also go with that. And we will also try to find you and follow up with you. But in the end, I think these 2 ways are combined. In the end, they are all paid from the treasury, but it's just the difference of the format. For Code Bounty, it's run by the Phala team, and we will help you to establish maybe tip or on-chain bounty. On the other hand, if you want to just create a bounty directly, you can also go with that. And the team or other counselors will try to reach out to you. And yeah, so I think there's no much difference. But on either way, you can make a proposal to us.
Okay, great. That answers everything. Thank you very much.
Cool.
I have another question from Hash Warlock. With the smart contracts being able to make HTTP requests, does that mean we could have the smart contract make calls to RMRK's tools API?
That's a very interesting question. Yeah, the answer is yes, because we have, I think we are the only blockchain allow the smart contract to send out the HTTP request. So basically, you can talk to whatever service, either it's Web3 service or Web2 service, as long as they offer the HTTP endpoint, you can send the request, and we can get the response and do some processing and connect it back to our blockchain. We call that the side task. You can check the hackathon tutorial, and in the second tutorial, we have mentioned how to use that. But the tutorial is very rough. So if like there's any question, just feel free to ask in the hackathon or the dev group in Discord. And because it's still very early, it works. We have already built a demo to fetch the BTC price. But if there's any problem, yeah, maybe we can figure that out together. So yeah, I just back to the original question. Is it possible to make requests to RMRK? I think as long as their API is working, and yeah, it should work. But there are some caveats. So yeah, maybe you can propose the idea somewhere, and then we can have a deeper chat, or you can start exploring it. We have the demo, and you can just hack the demo and check how it works.
Yep. Nice.
Okay, perfect. So we got a question from Sky. He said he missed the start, but what was the answer about being ready for Polkadot Hurricanes on November 11th? Can you talk about that shortly, Marvin?
Yeah. Yeah. So the portal slot auction, I actually just answered this question earlier. We are planning on that, and we will join the slot auction and just keep in the community and wait for our announcement. But as a heads up, it's not so easy to to win the campaign based on the fact that we only have one token and a token already have a price. We need to give a well paid interest rate or APY to the community so that they are willing to staking dot for the campaign. But we already figured something out, and we are about to announce this later. Thank you. Just keep in the comment.
Thank you for that. Any more questions? You can either type it in or raise your request to speak. Another question from CZAR102. How can we write smart contracts? Are they in EVM?
Sorry, I missed that.
How can we write smart contracts? Are they in EVM? Very busy.
Yes, it is possible, but not possible now. In theory, it will be possible in the future. So now we only have so-called native smart contract. It's very similar to developing with Substrate. So you run. So basically, you write the code and you compile that, and it's a part of your blockchain. But of course, the next step, I don't think it's a very long. Maybe next month, we're going to launch the user smart contract. It basically means that you can store. You can compile the smart contract, upload it to the blockchain, and then the blockchain can run that. So this is a user smart contract, and the user smart contract is based in Ink. It's based on Ink smart contract. It's a smart contract based on Polkadot's standards, and so I think from the beginning we will only support Ink from the beginning. But in the future, there are two ways I can think about to to support EVM-based smart contract, especially Solidity. One is it could be possible we can try to embed a EVM on our worker, so it will be capable to run EVM native smart contract. But another way is to use a compiler called Solon. Solon is designed to compile Solidity to compatible smart contract, so it's WebAssembly based. So I personally prefer the later one because WebAssembly itself, I think, is more is a better it's the next generation technology compared with EVM. But of course, there are a lot of Solidity developers and existing Solidity code. So if like we can reuse the code, but we don't need to embed the original EVM itself, it will be, yeah, we can take the advantage of the both sides, right? So yeah, that's one possibility. Another is, of course, we embed EVM directly. We haven't made any conclusion yet, and that's still up for the community to discuss.
Thank you. A lot of great information. So since the team is really busy finishing up some work, so now we have the last question. Anyone?
Okay, so let's call it a day, guys. Thank you everyone for joining today, and we are very happy to be here in each 2 weeks. Please stay focused on the community announcement, and actually you can shoot out any question in the group as well. And thank you. Thank you for joining today.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Have a nice day, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.